Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rebecca Jade. For those of you that don't know, I am a mum to a beautiful 9-year-old. I am a girlfriend. I'm a money mindset mentor and life coach, and I'm also a woman who is on her very own Mounjaro journey. And that's why we're here today. We are here to talk about my journey with Mounjaro because, as the title suggests, I have lost 10 kilos. 10 kilos since being on Mounjaro. And so I thought, do you know what? Perfect time to come and share my journey, answer some questions, deep dive into it, because I know that there's a lot of people subscribed to my channel and a lot of people that watch my videos that are either on their own Mounjaro journey or on a weight loss injection like Wegovy or Ozempic, or they're wanting to get started. And so these videos, I've heard from you guys, the feedback that I'm getting in the comment section is amazing. Sorry, my puppy's just decided it would be a great idea to play with one of her toys and destroy them. So hopefully you don't hear that in the background. But yeah, I have a lot of people that are really curious, interested, and looking to start their own journey. So let me answer some questions that I have here. First question is, what made you decide to try Mounjaro in the first place? For me, and I actually had someone message me the other day, and they said to me when I was sharing on my Instagram about my Mounjaro journey, they said to me, why didn't you just use and do all of the things that you were normally doing to lose weight? And I've had a very big journey with health, fitness, wellness, weight loss. When I had my daughter, I gained like a lot of weight. I think I gained definitely over 20 kilos, maybe 25 kilos. I'm trying to do quick math in my head. I think it was 25 kilos. I gained a substantial amount of weight. And so after I had my daughter, it took me a long time to lose the weight, like a long time. But the things that I was doing, I was taking supplements. I was working out every day, moving my body, eating really healthy, really clean. And it worked, like it worked great. And the thing is, I think the misconception is with weight loss is that, especially the misconception with people taking weight loss injections and weight loss medication, is that they're cheating or that it's an easy way out. For me, I never stopped doing these things. You know, I've been working out consistently for over 10 years, since before my daughter was born. Like, I'm talking every week consistently. Like, even when I'm usually on holidays, I will work out or I'll get my steps in. And so I've always been consistent with my workouts. I've always eaten really healthy. I've always tried to have like a balanced diet. I've always, gotten my steps in. Like, I've always done these things, but there came a point in my journey, especially recently, when these things stopped working. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's an age factor. I have no idea. But it was like, no matter what I did and no matter what I was doing, it just felt like I was packing on more weight and more weight and more weight. And it got to the point where I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, what the hell? Like, this is not me. Like, I was so inflamed, so miserable, so deflated, way heavier than I'm like used to. And it didn't make sense because I was doing all the things. And so at that point, I knew that I needed to get some medical help. Now, I had been wanting to try these weight loss injections for at least 6 months, because 6 months prior I got my bloods done. I went to my doctor, we did a full checkup trying to figure out what was going on, why I wasn't able to lose the weight, why I was holding so much weight even though I was living a very healthy, active lifestyle, and we couldn't find anything. Everything came back fine. And I was so frustrated and exhausted and angry, but at the same time I was still really apprehensive about this medication. I hadn't done enough research to feel comfortable enough to say yes, I want to do it. And so I waited another 6 months. I researched all the side effects, researched everything, got really comfortable. Then I went back to my doctor. And that's when I said to her, hey, I'm actually thinking about trying a weight loss injection. We ran through the 3 options: Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. Ozempic isn't very readily available here in Australia where I am, so that kind of instantly was ruled out. Wegovy, my doctor explained to me, was a cheaper option. However, it didn't have 2 active ingredients like Mounjaro did. So Mounjaro is a more high ticket option, so it costs more, but you get 2 active ingredients, therefore you can tap into the results quicker. And also too, what I noticed with my own research is that I've seen a lot of people on Wegovy having really terrible side effects. Like even family members of mine were on Wegovy and they were so unwell. They got pancreatitis. It was a drug that, yes, they were getting results, but it was like at what cost? Whereas everyone else that I was looking at that was on Mounjaro wasn't having nearly as many side effects, if any. So I said to my doctor, like, I don't care, I'll pay whatever. Price isn't really a thing for me. I'll pay whatever and go on Mounjaro. So that's how I decided between Mounjaro. I often get asked a lot how I get the medication through my doctor. I go to my doctor, she gives me 3 months worth of scripts, which is amazing. So I see her every quarter, we have a look, we track my progress, we see how I'm going, and then we decide whether we want to go up or down in dosages, what my goals are long term, and how I'm going. And I mean, for me, I've been on Mounjaro now for 5 months and I've lost 10 kilos. So I'm averaging a weight loss of 500 grams a week, which I think is really good for my body type. It feels very steady. You know, I know you could lose a lot more weight a lot quicker, but for me also too, I'm still super active. I'm in the gym, I'm boxing, I'm doing tennis, I'm walking every day. And so I didn't want to have, you know, or I didn't want to be in a massive calorie deficit so quickly, losing all my energy, all the things like that. Like I really wanted to ensure that my body was adapting, because there is a lot of high stress on my body with the workouts that I do and the movement that I do. So I'm losing 500 grams. And I mean, it's funny because some week I'll lose a lot of weight and then the next week I won't lose a single amount of fat, body fat or grams. So it's very just like this. The journey has been like this. It hasn't been like losing weight, losing weight, losing weight. It's been like, which is fine. You know, it's a part of the journey. If someone was to only watch the first 60 seconds of this vlog, what is the one thing that I wish they knew about Mounjaro? That it's changed my life. I was going to swear, but I'm not allowed to swear on YouTube. That it's changed my life and I wish I did it sooner. I think I didn't do it sooner because I was so afraid of the fear of judgment. I know when I have posted about Mounjaro, now I get a lot of positive feedback. Like I get a lot of people saying you've inspired me to speak to my doctor, or I'm on the medication, I'm feeling so much better. So now it's great. But in the beginning, especially on Instagram and Facebook, when I was posting about my journey with Mounjaro, I was getting a lot of negative comments. Like a lot of people pretty much saying, are you stupid? Have you not looked at the side effects? You look beautiful as you are. I don't know why you're doing this. Just really nasty stuff. And I knew that would come, and so that's what stopped me from doing it for a really long time is the fear of judgment. What are people going to say? What are people going to think? I also didn't want anyone to think that this was an easy way out for me, because like as someone that really prioritizes their health and their fitness and their wellness, this is not an easy way out for me. But at the same time, I do believe that we get to make life easier for ourselves. And I do believe that we don't always have to create resistance and make things hard. And so this has really allowed my fitness journey, my weight loss journey, my wellness journey to become a lot more easier. And it's not as hard. What was my starting weight and where am I now? My starting weight was, so I get asked this a lot, my starting weight and my height. My height is 168 centimeters and my starting weight was 76 kilos and I'm at 66 kilos. What were the biggest physical changes that I noticed in the first 2 weeks? My appetite. I wasn't eating as much because I simply wasn't thinking about food. The food noise for me completely vanished. And this was something that I actually never knew I struggled with until recently. And it was actually one of the big reasons why I decided to get on the weight loss injections. I was driving with my partner one day. He was driving, I was sitting passenger seat. And we were talking about the weekend that was coming up. And I think it was only Monday or Tuesday. And we were talking about like the weekend coming up ahead. And I said to him, I was like, you know, what are we going to do for lunch? And what are we going to do for dinner? And what are we going to do for snacks? And he looked at me and he was like, it is like almost a week away. Why are you thinking about this stuff? And I was like, wait, do you not think about food like all the time? And he's like, no. And I was like, so you don't think about like if you're out, where you're going to get food, if what happens if you're hungry, what type of food you might want to have, should you have food at home or should you eat out? And he was like, no, if I'm hungry, like I'll just figure it out in the moment. And I was like, holy crap, like this is so obscure to me because I'm someone that has always thought about food. Where are we eating? What are we doing? Do we have food at home? Blah, 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 blah. And now I understand there's like a level of this with being a parent. Like you obviously have a child to consider and children love to eat and eat and eat. So there is like a level of responsibility, but I was always obsessing over food. You know, at the end of the day, I'd lie in bed and I would think about all the things that I'd eaten throughout the day. Are they good? Are they bad? Roughly how many calories are in them? How much protein did I get? This would be me consistently. You know, if I wanted to have an extra slice of pizza, I would say to myself, oh, I would have to work this much off and in order to remove that slice of pizza. Like it was exhausting. And so the food noise was ginormous, like absolutely ginormous. And so it wasn't until that moment where he was like, that's not normal. And then when I went to my doctor and I explained my food noise, she said the same thing. She's like, that's actually not normal and this medication is going to help you with that. So that was the biggest change I seen straight away. The food noise literally within the day was gone. I wasn't thinking about food, so much so now I forget about food, but I know that I need to eat at certain times. That's how I remember to eat, and it's good because my body now gives me hunger cues around the times that I'm about to eat. So breakfast is usually at 8 a.m, lunch is usually at 12, and then dinner is at 6, and I usually will have an apple in the afternoon at 3 o'clock. The apple is the secret because with this medication, your bowels slow down so you can get constipated. So the apple really helps move things along. I also have a vibration machine that I brought off Amazon, and that helps move things along as well in my bowels. So that's like, I just know there's certain times now I'm like, oh, it's lunchtime or oh, it's dinner time. Because again, like I could totally just not eat and I would honestly I would be fine. Did you have plateaus, setbacks or slower weeks? Yes. 100%. I plateaued. I did a video on here previously where I did plateau for a while. I think it might have been a month. There was a big plateau. I think it was only 2 weeks ago where I put on a kilo. And I was like, oh shit. But then a week later, like I lost it. And so it's just, this journey is just not linear. Like it's not like on the up and up and up for me. It's been, don't get me wrong, like I've been losing weight, but there's weeks where I put on weight and there's weeks where the weight doesn't shift, and then there's weeks where I'm like losing a lot of weight. So it's not linear for me, and I've really had to detach mentally from that. I'm weighing myself every week and I'm tracking, but at the same time I'm not hyperfixating on the scales, if that makes sense. Instead, I'm just making sure that I'm living a very healthy, active life. And I'm also I also don't restrict myself either. You know, on Friday night, we have family pizza night. We put on a movie, we order pizza. I'll usually have some M&Ms. So we get a bag of M&Ms, we share them around. You know, I don't restrict myself. I just eat a lot less of the things, which is amazing. And that's a credit to the whole medication, because before I would eat the whole bag of peanut M&Ms in a sitting. Now I have a little bit, we share them around. There's some in the cupboard. So it's like, this medication has really allowed me to go, okay, I've had enough. I feel satiated enough. I don't need to keep going. Whereas before I never had that. What side effects did I personally experience? Not a whole heap. Honestly, I really thought that I was going to experience a lot more side effects than I did. Not a whole heap, you guys. And I'm really grateful. I'm really, really grateful. But I used to get a little bit nauseous a few hours after my injection, and the next day. I don't get that anymore. I'm totally fine. When I inject, I'm great. I'm currently on the 7.5 milligram dosage, and I have been on that one for the last 2 months. So I feel like my body's acclimatized to that great, and I plan on just staying on that dosage now. I'm going to stay on that dosage, and then my doctor and I will create a plan when I'm ready to come off of the medication. but that's me. I feel really good on that medication. Like, I mean, and the other side effect, I suppose, is I feel like I've lost a bit of hair. Now, caveat, I'm very blessed. I have a lot of hair. Like, my hair is quite thick. But when I'm showering, I've got clumps of hair coming out. Like, clumps and clumps and clumps of hair. Which is a little bit scary because I'm on a hair health journey. I took my extensions out at the start of the year. I stopped bleaching my hair. So I am on a health journey. So seeing clumps of hair in the bottom of the shower is not, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. So yeah, I think I'm losing a bit of hair. I used to get a tiny bit nauseous, nothing crazy. Like, I just would avoid the gym for the day, but I could still go for a walk. That's kind of the only side effects. Oh, and I think I had a little bit of heartburn when I went from the 5 milligram to 7.5 milligram for like a week. I had a bit of heartburn, but that was it. It was totally fine. How did my body react to the different dosage increase? Fine. Honestly, fine. I've gone up and up. Like, I went from 2.5 to 5 and then 7.5, and I've stayed on that. So, honestly, it's been fine. It's been really fine. Did I notice any changes in my mood, energy, or sleep? Sleep, no. Sleep's pretty good. Energy, yes. I have a lot less energy. Usually in the afternoon, I'm pretty exhausted. So what I do is I have a lot of daytime naps. Mood, yeah, because I don't have a lot of energy, so I can be really cranky. My libido has dropped significantly, and I was looking into that. It's not a common side effect for this medication, but I assume because I'm eating a lot less, I have a lot less energy, and obviously my libido is a lot less. So, I mean, energy is definitely something that I'm lacking, but it's nothing crazy. Like, if I'm really tired, I'll have a nap for half an hour and I'm totally fine again. So yeah. How did I hit my protein goals while staying within the calories? Honestly, I stopped tracking. So if you watch my previous videos, you'll hear me talk about how I'm so regimented. ChatGPT creates my calorie intake, my macros, my meal plans. I got over that really quick because I started to overanalyze the food, and I started to eat based on what I think I should have been eating. And I would say no to things when I wanted to say yes. Now, the way that I eat is just very intuitive. And I find that it's helped me better because I was creating a lot of stress in my life around food. I was like, I'm not getting enough calories. I'm not eating enough protein, blah, 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 blah. And it was just creating so much stress. I let go of that. I eat intuitively. I don't restrict. I eat what I want to eat. I eat a lot less. I do prioritize my protein. I make sure that I do have protein with every single meal. However, I'm not weighing it and knowing the grams and putting it in a calorie counter. Okay, last question. Do you ever feel guilt around doing this for myself? No. Not at all, you guys. Not at all, not at all. I don't feel guilty for doing this for myself. Like this, I think that we should all put ourselves first. Like this life, we're living it. We come into this world alone, we die alone, and I think that you should put yourself first. And I think that life's too short to be thinking about what other people are going to say or how other people are going to feel about what you're doing. And I think that you get to be selfish with this. So I hope that helps you. I hope this gives you a little insight into my journey. I'm loving all the comments, loving, you know, messaging you guys back and forth. And yeah, I will continue to keep you updated on my journey with this beautiful weight loss medication that has changed my life. Bye guys.